Well, welcome to... Well... Welcome to Rocky Cape National Park. Sorry to interrupt the video here. It seems that idiot me, not for the first time on this trip, forgot to press the record button. I thought I might interrupt just to tell you a couple of things that I noticed when we were on this trip to Rocky Cape National Park. In fact, both of this video and the previous one have been about that. And I couldn't help, although I didn't expect it, to find that we're coming across a lot of Aboriginal sites. And I think that's wonderful. I've had a long association with working with First Nations, and from my late 20s until my early 30s, I was involved in teaching Aboriginal kids and working with Aboriginal colleagues, and at times even going to protests, which got into some trouble at certain times. But one thing I noticed was that when I moved to Tasmania, how different things were here. Yeah, there's a widely held myth that all Aboriginal people in Tasmania were eliminated in something they called the Black War from the 1820s to the early 1830s, where genocide and disease wiped out most people. But it wasn't all. Some were moved to an island at the north of Tasmania called Flinders Island, and there are about 20,000 people who still claim Aboriginal identity within the state. To see these caves, these shelters where there were Aboriginal middens and places where Aboriginal people, when they were collecting seafood and cooking, they hold a great deal of cultural significance. Where one of these caves that you're about to see coming up has restricted access, where we, tourists and white people, are not allowed. And I think that's great. I think these places should be preserved. If we value our own sites that we think are important, after only a few hundred years in the country, imagine the significance of something that's been held for 40, 50, 60, 70, you name it, 1,000 years. And I think we should be kept off limits from these places until we can learn to see that First Nations culture is our culture, and it's part of who we are as well, and we need to take that to heart and really, really respect it. And even behind me is a mountain whose name today we've lost. There's a few people who've interpreted it to be a couple of names, but I'm not going to say that here because we don't truly know. But I do know the mountains behind this, in this part of the Western Tiers, are called Mountains of the Spirits, and that's very true, because there isn't a day doesn't go by when I'm up here that I don't feel the presence of the people who once lived here. Anyway, that's my little ramble for this video. Sorry for the interruption. Let's get back to the video.
They were in charge while the elders went out hunting and gathering to look after all the small children in the tribe. But they were bored and the little kids weren't doing anything fun, so they took off to go play together. And then the little children who were left wandered into the sea and they were drowned. So the elders got back and were furious, and so they separated the three children so that they could never play again. And that's what the three croppings are in the sea. Hope you can hear me with the wind. It's actually not that windy today for up here. This is the Tarkine coast. Most people come here to visit that.